A very good morning to everyone. So I'm back again with one more video. So that is on the poem A Worker Reads a History. So this poem is written by Bertolt Brecht. So let's see uh, the poem. So I have placed the poem here. A Worker Reads a History. So I'm not going to read the poem. I think many of you have read this poem, and initially in the classes also we have dealt with the poem. Just to recall you before your exams. Uh, so I've mentioned about the poet Bertolt Brecht, as well as I have tried to explain the poem what is there. Okay, so first of all about the poet, that is Bertolt Brecht, was born on 10th February 1898 and died on 14th August 1956. To speak about him, he was a German playwright, is a poet, and a theatre director known for his influential contribution to modern theatre. So he was one of the directors who has contributed to the modern theatre. Then developed the concept of epic theatre aimed to critical thinking and social change. So he is one who brought social change because uh, what was shown, the concept that was shown in the theaters, made the people to critically think about a particular aspect, and that's how he brought the changes in the society. Next one, Brecht's work often addressed political themes. So most probably, his poems, his works often address with a political theme, focusing on the issues that is inequality, war, and the role of the individual in society. So he focused mainly on the political themes, on political aspects of the society, especially focusing on inequality, wars between the nations, as well as what is the role of an individual in society. Also, he has written. So here there are three most important plays of Brecht. That is the Three Penny Opera, Mother Courage and Her Children, The Life of Galileo. So these are the important, well-known plays. His direct address and alienation effects to challenge traditional forms of theatre and encourage the audience to think critically about the world around them. So we can say that he is one of the director that he not only gave the audience some entertaining or some visual effects, but also by giving such critical things, he made the people, made the uh, society to think about the particular issue on very critically. So that's about the poet. Moving on to the poem. So it's a very simple poem and very easiest poem where the poet is questioning why there is inequality between in the nation. So now he brings forth the rulers, the kings, then the other side he brings also the ordinary people. So when you remember, now if you go back to the history, who is remembered? The one who is in power, right? The one who is in power, the one who ruled the nation, one who had some influence, or such people are remembered. Uh, we don't find any ordinary people remembered uh, in the history. So there may not be any name of the person who is an ordinary. So moving on to this poem, a worker reads a history is a critic. He criticizes in this. He doesn't appreciate, so he criticizes to the traditional historical narratives that primarily focus on the rulers and powerful figures. So what do we have in the history? This is one. We have the history where the rulers, the powerful figures are highlighted. Who is neglected? The working class is neglected. Now, the rulers live in the courtyards or live in the places, bungalows or places. Now, who has built them? It was built by the ordinary people, but they are not mentioned anywhere. Their names are not written anywhere in the history. The poem questions the conventional portrayal of history, highlighting the absence of the common people who built and sustained civilization. The rulers, though they have contributed something, but it is the common people. So he is mainly speaking about the common people. They have done so much to the society. They have worked for the civilization of society, but their names are not at all mentioned in the history. By this perspective, Brecht encourages the reader to consider the role of workers and the exploitation they faced, aligning with the socialist ideals, belief in the importance of class struggle in understanding history. So these he is making the people to look at the history. Now, though people have worked, the ordinary people have worked, their names are not mentioned anywhere. It is only the powerful and the rulers are mentioned. Who built the cities? It is the people, but their names are not there. Who served the meal? Who served the food for the kings? Who cooked the meal for the kings? It is the workers. It is the maids. But are the names mentioned in the history? No, their names are not mentioned. Ruler is the one who is seen uh, in front. So, in the history, the ordinary peoples are not mentioned. So, by focusing on working class, Brecht's poem shifts from focus from heroic individuals to the collective efforts of the ordinary people. So, only heroes are mentioned in the history, right? The people, the supporters, their names are not mentioned in the history. Now, these ordinary people have worked for the nation, have worked for supporting the king in numerous ways. They have given, uh, some might have lost their life uh, for fighting for the nation and so on. So, but their names are not mentioned in the history. Ultimately, the person who is in the power, the ruler, is mentioned in the history. So, that is why Brecht criticizes the history because it has forgotten the writers. It has forgotten the important people who really worked for the history. So, what is the purpose of writing this? Okay, why Brecht writes this particular poem, criticizing, giving an idea, or making the people to think critically? Okay, first one, he challenges traditional historiography. Okay, he challenges this. So, challenging, he asks, Brecht wants us to question who history chooses to remember. Now, if you've forgotten something, if you're not mentioning something, then we have forgotten, right? Now, for example, if someone helps us and we don't mention the name of a person anywhere to anyone, it means we have forgotten. Okay, we have forgotten the help the person has given us, and we have forgotten uh, the person himself. So, Brecht is asking, whom do you want to remember in the history and whom do you want to forget? We forget obviously the one who has not done. But in history, what has happened? The one who has done, his name is forgotten. It doesn't mean that ruler has not done. Ruler also has done, but along with him, the ordinary people also have supported him. Second one, the poet critiques how history often credits only rulers, while the ordinary workers, artisans, soldiers, common people are actually erased from the world. So now he is asking the people, ordinary people, because they don't dare to question, right? So their names are erased, especially the soldiers who have worked for the nation, who have protected the nation. Their names are not mentioned in the history, so the names are erased. So, voice of the marginalized, by using the voice of the worker, Brecht shifts perspective. So, he doesn't speak about, I mean, he doesn't mention about the ordinary soldier or artisans. He says it's a worker. Whoever has worked for the history, his name has been forgotten in the history. The worker is just reading history by questioning it, recognizing the injustice of being left out. So now the reader himself is reading the history. Okay, uh, by reading that he understands that there is something. some injustice has taken place in the history. The names of the ordinary people, common people, are not mentioned in the history. Exposing power dynamics. Brecht emphasizes the victories and monuments were not achieved by the rulers alone. So, rulers have done, but not them alone. Yeah, there are other people too who have worked for the nation. So every great man had thousands of unnamed supporters. Who is a great man? The ruler. Okay. But even he had supporters. It is not only by him he has conquered everything. It's not by him he has done everything, but ultimately the supporters have been forgotten. Yet history often celebrates the powerful while silencing the many who sacrifice the most. So the powerful is celebrated, but the person one was really worked has been silenced. So that is what has happened in the history. So he says, historically he commits an irony, telling that this great man concept itself is highlighting the ruler, but the anonymous workers who have worked for the success of the poet has sorry the ruler has been forgotten. So it is a very simple poem where a worker is reading a history and is critically thinking about the place, about the the part that has missed in the history, okay, where the common people's names have not been mentioned in the history. We have many cities, we have many uh, monuments, we have statues of the kings. Who has built it? It was built by the common people, but their names are forgotten in the history. So, students, so that's what the summary of the poem is. You can go through the poem again and see where the poet speaks about highlighting the ruler, where their names are highlighted in the history, but the common people are always forgotten in the history. So that is what the ultimate idea, and he is making the common people, the society, to think and to ponder on this too. So thank you, students. Have a nice day.